Jeremy Brand for MMAsucka.com here with one championship champion, Angela Lee. Awesome to have you here in Canada. Obviously born and raised in Canada, well, till 5, and then moved to Hawaii, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But you're back in Canada for the holidays and training and eating and enjoying the holidays you spent it in Victoria. What made you come back to Canada?
You know, it's been a while. It's been a couple of years, and you know, I thought it would be nice to just get the family back together and visit my uncles and my grandparents. So it's been really fun so far.
So you spent Christmas and stuff on the island. You made your way to the mainland. You're here training at United MMA. Did you get any training in on the island while you were over there as well?
No, actually over there it was Christmas time. We were like just kind of tasting all the different kind of food and enjoying ourselves. But actually, I take that back. We were doing some training, but it wasn't like too much. There's like a little gym in the hotel, and so we were using that. But other than that, it's nothing too serious. I mean, because my dad and my brother were used to traveling with each other all the time, we can kind of just do like training on the spot. Like, okay, try this drill out that I just kind of, you know.
So you're not in fight camp, which is a good thing for the holidays. Have you been in fight camp over the holidays in the past?
Actually, yeah. Last year, December, in Manila, me and my brother fought in the same card, and that was in December. So it's definitely harder because, you know, we're such avid Christmas fans, but you know, it's part of the job and something you have to do.
So at 20 years old, undefeated still, you saw your brother suffer a defeat. You had a very difficult outing in your last fight, still were able to land the finish and seal the deal, keep the belt around your waist. What is it that keeps you so grounded at just 20 years old? That I mean, you've seen him lose. You know what that losing feels like. How much does that weigh on your shoulders?
You know, it's really tough. Next year is going to be a really big year because it's going to be my first title defense. So, yeah, I mean, I worked so hard to get the belt.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, sometimes people say it's actually harder to keep the belt than to work up and actually fight for it. So we're definitely, after the holidays, we're going back home and we're just going to train super hard, you know, prepare like I'm still a contender, not the champion. And I think that's the kind of mindset you have to have, because sometimes, you know, when you win the belt, when you get up there, kind of get complacent and don't train as hard. But yeah, I think that's the downfall to a lot of champions. But I definitely learning from people like other fighters and trying to use that so, you know, I don't have to.
For sure. So is that the mindset then? You're not the champion until you defend the belt kind of thing? Because a lot of champions do feel that way. A lot of contenders feel that way because, you know, if a champion doesn't defend that belt, they're like, big deal. You're not a true champion. We've seen that in the UFC a ton where guys, it's a rotating door.
Yeah.
You obviously hope to hold on to the belt. Is that the way you feel? You feel you're not the champ until you defend it?
Yeah, and even then, just because I never want to get I never want to like be okay with like, okay, you know, I can relax, I'm the champion, you know. I don't want to have that mindset. I mean, because I won it so young too, I mean, there's so much more for me to grow up as a fighter. So I think, you know, first title defense is just crucial, just because I have something to prove. Like, I am the champion of this division, and I'm going to prove that to everyone next year. But also, even after that, you know, I never want to be, I don't know what that word is, you know?
Yeah, stagnant.
Just stagnant, complacent, and comfortable. Yeah. For
sure. So would you say that, I mean, we see with one, especially with some of their heavier champions, like even just a weight class above you, Bibiano Fernandez, or 2 weight classes above you, but he has people that are brought in for him. There's no one in Asia that really seems to be able to compete with him. You're lucky at 115 pounds that there are so many tiny Asians and whatnot that they don't have to bring people in. Do you feel like there are enough people within one championship that will be able to keep you motivated to stay the champion with that organization?
The thing is, they're constantly searching and recruiting for new fighters. So I think next year they're going to be adding a lot of female fighters to their roster, and I think that's great for the organization to expand the division, hopefully open up another weight class. I think they have 1, 2, 3 weight classes for the female fighters. So they're going to be recruiting new people, and hopefully it's, you know, some contenders.
Well, this last fight, we said, you know, it was a tough one. You got knocked down, you kept your composure. Would you say that was your toughest fight to date?
Yeah, definitely. The fight itself was tough. but also everything that came with it, because it was a title fight. It was the first female champion that they were going to crown in the division, and there was just a lot of pressure I was dealing with before that fight. I think the next fight I have is going to be, I think, not as much pressure for me.
How much does that mean to you to be the first female champion?
It was, honestly, it was the coolest thing ever, because going into being signed with One Championship, and I was kind of doing some research on the organization, and they're a really young company, so they had female divisions, but they didn't have a female champion. And when I found that out, I was like, I want to be that.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
I want to be that champion, first one ever. Definitely, it's a big honor to be the first. So hopefully, you know, good things are going to come.
So you said 2017, you want that to be a big year for you.
Yeah.
You haven't always been the most active fighter with the organization. Do you hope to be even more active in 2017? Because sometimes with divisions like they have been putting on a lot more fight cards. They've announced their 2017 dates. There are a ton of fight cards for 2017 within One Championship. Do you hope to be more active?
Definitely. You know, this year was after winning the title in May, just a bunch of things happened, and so I wasn't as active. But previously before that, I actually fought 5 times when I first got signed last year. So it's been a busy year, and then last year, and then this year was not so busy. So hopefully 2017, I really want to stay active champion and defend that title as many times as possible.
Talked about mindset, 20 years old, still very young in the game. You seem to be such a composed, not just fighter, but person in general. What is your mindset overall? Like, do you have goals for small goals for the year? Do you have large goals? What's your overall goal? Like, let's start with small. 2017, sounds like your goal is to defend the belt a few times.
Of course.
So, overall goal in your MMA career, not in life, but we will talk about that. In MMA, what's your goal?
In MMA, you know what? I just want to keep improving myself. I want to be the best martial artist that I can be. I think it's key to just keep evolving and never stay just okay with where you're at. But I think for me, my end goal after my MMA career is done is kind of just leave this legacy that I can look back on and say, you know, I did so much for women's MMA in Asia and across the world, and I want to look back and be proud of that. So I'm young and have a lot of years to go.
Exactly.
So
Do you see yourself doing this for your whole career? Do you think mixed martial arts will be the be-all end-all for you?
you know what? It's actually, for me, martial arts will always be a part of my life, just because it's kind of been like that since I was a baby. So even after I'm done fighting, or whenever that day comes, I think I'll definitely still be in the gym, training, helping train my younger brother and sister. Yeah, it's just part of the lifestyle.
So we see martial artists, 115-pound women all over the world. We see UFC champions, we see whatnot. We see you in the rankings outside the top 10. To be a champion, do you care about rankings at all? I'm sure you don't, because you're so composed. But it looks like you do a little bit.
Honestly, it's just a whole lot of politics, and it's a whole lot of, you know, I don't even know whose opinions these are, if they're biased or whatnot, but I know who I am as a fighter and what kind of fighter I am, and I think that, you know, put me against any other fighters in the world, I'd be just fine. That's
what I was going to ask. How do you think you stack up against the top 5 in the world? Do you think you can compete with, say, Joanna Jędrzejczyk?
For sure, or else I wouldn't be in the sport and I wouldn't be, you know, where I'm at right now. I think that I'm very confident in where I am, and also I'm really young, so I'm improving every day, and I'm just gonna keep sharpening my skill set. So
you have an awesome skill set. Who are some of your fighters that you look up to, obviously other than your brother and your dad, in the mixed martial arts world these days?
There's a lot of really amazing fighters. I think later today there's going to be, you know, amazing fight card going on with Ronda Rousey and Amanda Nunes headlining the card. But also, you look at, you know, the co-main, and I think that Dominic Cruz, I think I really admire his style, because it's so, you know, it's, I love his footwork and his movement, and I think that's something that I would like to pick up for myself as well. So definitely looking at just all these fighters, I like to pick something about them that works for them, and I like to see how if I could use that and add it to my skill set. So definitely be paying close attention.
That's
to
a cool mindset. Talking about that, you know, you're here at United. You said you trained a little bit with your family over in Victoria. You train in Hawaii. You're at Evolve. Is that something that you'd like to do? Is travel around the world and train at different gyms and whatnot? Like pick up from Dominic Cruz. Say you go down to Alliance and try out with them or something like that. Is that something that you'd like to do along the way? I mean, as we said, you're 20 years old.
For sure. I mean, I think for me, the best part about this job is meeting new people and just having all these new experiences. For me, I always like to keep an open mind, put the ego aside, and just, be willing to learn from these fighters because they have so many more experiences than I do. And, take advantage of it.
Okay, move away from sort of the sport itself and talk about your mindset over there. Age-wise, it keeps coming up because you are so young, but obviously at 20, boys are a big thing. How does that keep your mindset straight, like boyfriends and whatnot, and being able to, because we've seen that a lot, in not just sports, but in different, lifestyles, entertainment and whatnot, able to hold on to something like that and not sway too far away from what their overall goal is. Like, how do you keep your mind straight when it comes to martial arts and keep the boys sort of on the side?
For me, I mean, it was definitely hard separating the two, but for me, martial arts and my career is always gonna, be ahead of my relationship, just because right now I'm so young and not a lot of times, that relationship is gonna survive, especially with the kind of career I have, always traveling, always training. It's gonna be really tough to find a good guy that understands that, Also, I don't really go out that much, so it's hard to meet a lot of people. But, who knows? I'm not gonna rush it. I'm not gonna go out looking for someone, but just kind of focus on my career and enjoy life. And what happens, it happens.
For sure. So finally, you're here, you're in Canada, you got to experiment with food and whatnot and all that kind of stuff. You've been all over the world, you've enjoyed your food all over the place, but it seems like Marble Slab has been something that has popped up on social media nonstop. What is it about this food, this Marble Slab, that you're loving so much?
I just love ice cream. I really do. It's like one of my weaknesses, and every time I go to Marble Slab, I'm like, oh, I didn't try that flavor yet. I didn't try this combination yet. So it's kind of fun, just enjoying my off time, and I know I'm gonna have to work really hard to burn that off when I get home, but it's worth it.
Thank goodness you're not in fight camp.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.